Yes, you can. Okay, you can go 24 hours without food. Your body is more than capable of that. It will take some practice. It will take you starting to gradually increase your fasting window. If you've never fasted for more than 10 hours, don't try a 24-hour or a 48-hour fast. Don't do it. That's not what I'm encouraging. But starting to shift your story, change the story to yes, I can do this. Yes, I can start to give myself space from eating. I am not a doctor or a scientist. This is my personal experience of fasting. Please don't try anything that may compromise your health without medical supervision. This video is intended to plant the seed of curiosity. Do your own research and decide if prolonged fasting is right for you. Hello, my mindful foodies, it's Mike. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about extended fasting, like water fasting to be more specific. So I already did a video that's just kind of generally talking about my journey through the fasting experience, some of the whys behind you would do it, some of the benefits to doing it. I will link that video up here so you can check it out. And today, at the time of recording this video, I am currently at 109 hours on a water fast. And I just want to clear that I use supplements, I still drink coffee, I use some activated charcoal this time, and I've had the best experience ever of doing an extended fast like this. It's not my first time doing multiple days, but this is my record so far of how long I've gone on a water fast. And I want to talk about the why behind this, okay? So this might seem really extreme, and for a lot of people, and one of the reasons I actually have been hesitant to talk about it is because people jump to the conclusion that when you're doing a fast like this, that it's not safe, it's unhealthy, that there's something about like losing weight. And I will say this, like I said in my last video, I do not fast with the intention of losing fat or losing weight off of my body. I love my body. I am at a place where I'm really comfortable with my weight and how my body looks overall. There's really a lot of scientific reasons for why you would want to look into adding in a fasting protocol. And for me, I'm like, over 3 years now into my fasting experience, and it's taken me a long time to get to be able to do something like this. I really do believe that the supplements and adding in something to absorb some of the toxins that get released in the system has made me feel as amazing as I feel right now. No hunger pains, no weakness, none of the chills that I've actually gotten in the past. Like, I really just feel amazing and energized, and I'm like even considering going a whole nother day. It was my birthday yesterday, and it was the first birthday in my life that I can remember where I didn't just shovel sugary, really unhealthy foods into my mouth and leave my birthday feeling regret for what I had done to my body. So I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about the reasons, some of the things you want to be aware of, some of the things you want to look out for if you are interested in starting to extend your fast beyond 24 or 48 hours, which again, there's a lot of benefits to doing shorter fasts. Intermittent fasting has massive impact on your overall health. It doesn't need to be something you do every day, but bringing it in from time to time, cycling it into your lifestyle can be hugely beneficial. And a lot of the reasons that I do extended fast, which I do every couple of months, every quarter or so, I don't do them every month, is for the longevity purposes. Your body literally starts to consume something called senescent cells, which are also called zombie cells. And basically senescent cells are what aging is. So whenever you're young and you're vital and you're in your youth, your body is really efficient at like cleaning up any cells that die off in your body. And the older that you get, the less and less ability your body has to efficiently clean those cells up. So whenever a cell dies in your body, if your body is not quick to get rid of it, essentially that dead cell gives off hormones, gives off toxins that start to affect the cells around it. Again, this is science. You can look up this kind of science, and I will link some links below in the description if you're interested in learning more about that stuff. But the older you get, the more and more these senescent cells start to build up in your tissues, and your body is unable to get rid of them efficiently. And that's essentially what causes wrinkles and sagging skin and aging of your organs and every tissue in your body. And I am somebody that is kind of obsessed with having a long, healthy lifespan as well as a long, healthy health span, okay? And your health span is how long in your life you actually are still vibrant and healthy. And that's something that I'm way more interested in than how many years I'm on this planet. I want every year that I'm on this planet to be filled with vibrant, optimal health. That's my goal. Something that I would say about fasting, and especially extended periods of fasting, you need to know why you're doing it, and you really need to have a healthy relationship with food before you start to move into a fast. That's why I always say again and again, it's not about weight loss, okay? If you're somebody that's desperate to lose weight, hates your body, has eating disorders where you have a lot of energy, emotional energy around food and eating, a fast might not be the right thing for you right now. You want to work on that relationship to food before you move in to trying to go on to an extended fast. So something I talked about in the last video, which again, I would really encourage you to check out my other video on fasting. I will link it again in the description and at the end of the video, is autophagy. So autophagy is kind of a buzzword around fasting. Your body is always in some state of autophagy. And what it means is essentially your body starts to consume damaged cells, damaged proteins, damaged mitochondria, the powerhouse of your whole body. They're in the cells that are making energy for you. And whenever you get into a fasted state, like around 12, 14, 16 hours, depending on your genetics and your metabolism, your body starts to really kick into overdrive, this state of autophagy, and starts to consume a lot of these toxic dead cells in your body that are no longer useful. It eats them up as a way to get energy because you're not giving it energy through food. And whenever you refeed your body after a fast, this is actually when a lot of the benefits happen. There's something called mitosis, where whenever you come into a refed state after an extended fast, or really after any period of fast, but it's much more dramatic after an extended fast, your body floods itself with stem cells that then go to those areas that were kind of consumed, that were damaged, and starts to regrow a lot of these tissues and regrow a lot of these cell components. So in animal studies, they've shown organs shrinking by 30 and 40% and regrowing to their full size in the refeeding stage, which means that regrowth of 30 or 40% of the organ is done with fresh baby with stem cells, meaning that you're like really building new tissue, vibrant, young, fresh tissue. Now, a lot of people think that, for a water fast, it's just water. And that's something that really the science does not show that there is much benefit or any benefit that I know of doing just a water fast. That's really more of like a perfectionist kind of purist way of looking at it. And they've actually shown in quite a few studies that adding in things like black coffee or good quality green tea, good quality coffee as well, actually help to increase autophagy. It kind of boosts it whenever you're in a fasted state, as well as some of the polyphenols, the antioxidants that are in coffee and tea, help to give some nourishment to your gut microbiome so that you're not, doing too much damage to the bacteria, your friends that are living in your gut. It gives them a little bit of fiber, if you're drinking like matcha or like a French press coffee where a little bit of that particulate's getting down there, there's fiber in that helps to feed your gut. And as well as adding in some supplements. So there's different supplements you can add in, and like even just adding in some electrolytes, again, not something that has any sugar in it, not something that has like, rice syrup or anything that might give it a little bit of sweetness. I actually use this, which I can link below. So this is like concentrates. It's like an electrolyte supplement. There's different things that you can get that are just going to help to keep your electrolyte levels balanced, because they're, especially in an extended fast, there's something called refeeding syndrome where it can be a little dangerous if you're not knowledgeable about how to break the fast, which I'm going to talk about again in a second. And it's really about learning how to listen to your body. If you get the feeling that something is not right, like, you want to make sure that you're aware of that and you're listening to your body. What I will say is that every time I've done an extended fast, overall, I've felt pretty great. The first time I did it, I didn't know any better, and I just did water and black coffee, no salt even. Salt is hugely important to make sure you keep your sodium levels balanced. And when I did that first fast, I made it through 48 hours, and I did not enjoy the 48 hours too much. I enjoyed the benefits. Like, I felt mentally clear. I felt after I refed, I just really felt energized and like, enlivened after I started eating food again in a different way than I normally did. It was definitely a notable experience, a different experience of my body. But whenever the second time I did it, I started adding in some, pink Himalayan sea salt in warm water. And then now I even do it where I have if you've heard of yerba mate, it's like a sea salt and organic seasoned salt that has a little bit of, parsley and onions and garlic and leeks and all these different things. They're such in small amounts that there's no caloric load to it, so it does not affect my ketones or my blood sugar levels. And it's like I'm drinking a vegetable broth at the end of the day if I want something warm and satisfying. So there's a lot of ways that you can make the fast more enjoyable. I also recently, this last time that I'm on this fast right now, I've added in some activated charcoal, because whenever you get into a fasted state, it does dislodge a lot of toxicity from your fat cells in your body. And your bacteria in your gut microbiome give off things called lipopolysaccharides, which are actually quite toxic and make you just generally feel a state of disease. You'll feel gross and lethargic and kind of weak and achy. And taking the activated charcoal helps to absorb a lot of that toxicity in your gut and pass it through into your colon. So I can say that any of those negative symptoms that I've had by doing previous extended fasts, I have not felt any of them this time. And I'm actually gone like almost 24 hours longer than I have in the past. So there is definitely hope for you if you're interested in trying to bring some of these things in. The science around fasting is mind-blowing, and it's something that humans have known for thousands of years. There, in Ayurvedic medicine, fasting is a hugely beneficial component going back 5,000 years. And even, fasting was actually in the medical literature as a cure for a lot of diseases. And it kind of got taken out as not something that was really used as frequently because it's challenging. It is definitely not the way that we think we're supposed to deal with food and with our body. But the science just seems to show again and again that it's just not true that we can't go into a fasted state. We are cavemen. We have not evolved that far past our ancestors that were hunter-gatherers, that did not have access to, a grocery store with an abundance of food from all over the world, anything they wanted all times of the year. And our body evolved to actually do a lot of healing processes whenever there was an absence of food and we were in a ketogenic state. So when you allow yourself, consciously, mindfully, sustainably to go into a period with no food, your body starts to heal itself in ways that it just can't do when it has to do the burden of digestion, which takes a ton of your body's energy and attention whenever you're digesting food. The scientists that I heard some podcasts about that really shifted my awareness are Dr. Walter Longo, and I'll post some stuff about some interviews with him in the description below. He's kind of the godfather of fasting science, and in controlled studies, they have shown that you can cure any number of autoimmune diseases and put certain kinds of cancer into remission pretty quickly and pretty dramatically with fasting, and really, especially in conjunction with traditional like chemotherapy and radiation, adding fasts in around those treatments can really help to lessen the negative effects of getting those cancer treatments. So again, I am not a doctor, okay? Disclaimer, I'm not telling you to do anything without talking to your doctor, your oncologist, if it's something dramatic and you have like a really serious health condition. But just being curious and starting to do the research so you can go to a doctor maybe and talk to them with some knowledge behind it. Dr. Walter Longo is the first one, and another doctor who's really at the forefront of the research is Dr. Jason Fung, and he's actually a doctor from Toronto, which is where I'm from, and he's become a world expert on fasting. So again, I will put some links below of some interesting interviews and some stuff from them if you want to learn more from the actual doctors behind the research. As far as how to break a fast, this is something that there's a lot of different kind of theories behind it. Depending on the length of the fast, I think it does make a difference. One thing that I know that I don't want to do is to combine carbohydrates and fats in my first meal. So even though it might be counterintuitive because I'm in a ketogenic state right now, when you take in some carbohydrates, essentially that increases insulin. Insulin's the key that opens up the door to your cells and allows nutrients to get in. So what you don't want to do after a fast is have a really high fat, high carbohydrate meal like a steak with some potatoes or like a cinnamon bun or cereal with milk, something like that. I mean, I would say no milk, no gluten in general in your life. That's a whole nother video. But whenever you eat that, it essentially opens up your cells and lets that fat get a superhighway right into there. And especially if you don't want to gain weight and kind of cancel out any of that benefit, like losing a bit of weight is a benefit. It's not the reason I do it, and it's not why I would encourage anyone to do it. But eating a high fat, high carb meal, not great. Lean protein's the best option. So I'm going to break my fast with some bone broth. I bought some grass-fed local bones, cattle bones, and I made broth. I have that in my fridge ready to go. I will have that with some of that herb sea salt as my first kind of meal to break the fast. And then you don't have to wait that long. Like 90 minutes later, you can have something that does have some carbohydrates. It's actually good, some fat in it. It's actually good to get in balanced nutrition. But just as far as breaking the fast, something like a bone broth, something like a good quality plant-based protein shake is a really good way. Even if you do eat meat, good quality lean like pastured chicken or like white non-fatty fish, other great ways that you can start to break it. In my opinion, bone broth is one of the best ways because it's very easy to digest. The collagen helps to replenish the villi, like those nutrient absorbing fingers in your intestines. And taking in a really high fiber is also something to avoid until, like, again, 90 minutes or 2 hours after you take in that first gentle lean protein meal. But eating high fiber essentially goes through there and scrapes along and really is not what you want in that moment. Of course, vegetables are amazing and really good for you, but just not to break a fast. So that I think is mostly everything I wanted to talk about. One last thing is this whole, the pushback that I get when I tell anybody that I'm doing an extended fast is I can't do that. Amazing for you. You're an inspiration. I hear that from a lot of people, but then they immediately put up their story of, I know I couldn't do that. I would go crazy. I would be mean, all of that stuff. Yes, you can. Okay, you can go 24 hours without food. Your body is more than capable of that. It will take some practice. It will take you starting to gradually increase your fasting window. If you've never fasted for more than 10 hours, don't try a 24-hour or a 48-hour fast. Don't do it. That's not what I'm encouraging. But starting to shift your story, change the story to, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can start to give myself space from eating. You might have to deal with a little bit of irritability. You might have to deal with a little bit of lightheadedness whenever you're first kind of getting into this and experiencing it as new. But slowly but surely, you start to train your body to not be so dependent on 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 meals a day, which, I'm not saying it to be funny. I've been there where I literally have gone through periods where I eat all day, every day. Binge eating disorder, body dysmorphia. I've suffered from those things, and I can say that it's because I have a much healthier relationship with food in my body that I'm able to and comfortable with doing longer extended fasts. So if you have any questions, please comment in the video comments below. I would love to kind of give you any more information. If you have specific questions, I would love to help you out with those. But check out some of the links I'm putting in the description. Watch some of these interviews with these experts on the science of fasting. It is new science. Like, really understanding what is happening and why it's beneficial has only been happening within the last 8 to 10 years, and even much more recently for some of it. So be curious. Yes, you can start to experiment with longer periods of time without food. It's possible, and it is hugely beneficial to most people's longevity, lifespan, and overall state of health. Keep moving your body, keep nourishing your body. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I am gonna go work out and then have a gigantic jug of bone broth. I will see you soon.